This podcast is brought to you by Martin Kearns and the Valor of Valhalla series. In the battle between two ancient evils, can one naive young man become the last hope against powerful creatures of legend? Beneath the Veil is the gripping first book in the Valor of Valhalla dark urban fantasy series. If you like reluctant heroes, infernal myths, and bloody epic clashes, then you'll love Martin Kearns' formidable foray into the unknown. So head on over to readkearns.com and grab yourself a copy of Beneath the Veil today. Hello guys and welcome to a brand new episode of Stories, the True and the Fictional. We have cleared 100 interviews. We are steamrolling ahead. It's going to be great. We've got another guest, someone from over the pond, as they say. But before we bring him in, Ryan, tell me, are you still wearing your favorite shirt?
I am. My new favorite shirt, my own merchandise. I haven't had any merchandise of my own since back in the band days, but yes, I am living the dream.
Yes.
I went and saw The Conjuring 4 today. It was very, very good. Very good. No, it didn't scare me, but didn't seem to scare anyone else in the cinema because I didn't hear anyone screaming. But it was a very good send off to the Conjuring series. That now that that's over. But yeah, very good movie. Enjoyed coming out. I just continuing to the dream every day.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Maybe it'll be Good Boy that will freak you out. That's the next one coming out, right?
Nah. Oh no, there's a few more I'm gonna see before that, but no, Good Boy won't freak me out. I'm looking for, as long as the dog lives in the movie. That's the one thing I don't like about the Conjuring movies. They tend to get rid of the animals, like the families all have dogs and they tend to be the first ones to go. So yeah, let's hope that Good Boy, the dog, survived in the end, or I think there'd be lots of riots.
That's it. All right, guys. Remember to check out our sponsors, Rebecca Castles and Martin Kearns. They've got some great books out. All their links will be down below. Please buy Ryan's shirt because he got excited.
Buy my shirt.
He got excited when someone bought his shirt, only to find out it was his wife that bought his shirt. So yeah. If you want to support the show, we've got all the links down there.
So I'm happy.
That's good.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get the show going. We've got a wonderful guest.
Yeah.
Paul JC Edge, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
So it sounds like you are from across the pond.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
Manchester, England. I'm from a small village called Holmes Chapel, where Harry Styles comes from, funnily enough.
Oh, there you go.
God.
There you go.
So all of our teenage girl viewers, which is probably zero, will be losing their minds over Harry Styles and the fact that you live in the same town. The only Harry Styles thing that I like is he was in a movie called The Eternals by Marvel, and he was a character that was in the post-credit scene that we're never going to see again because The Eternals got cancelled.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the question we always like to ask and always like to start with is, who is Paul JC Edge?
Right. Well, I've been a full-time writer for about 4 or 5 years. I've written 2 trilogies that exist in the same universe. They're sort of sci-fi horror. So I've got 2 trilogies out there. I've also just finished a very gritty detective story, which is a bit gruesome in places. Somebody told me when they were doing the alpha read for it that it was verging on horror. So, yeah.
Awesome.
So my stuff is a bit gritty. My background, I was in IT management consultancy for a lot of my life. Worked for a big pharmaceutical company, and that was my background. I started getting bored, and during lunch times, I started writing my first novel. And the first novel, which is English Apocalypse. It
Ooh.
is essentially how it got me into writing, and it's sort of leaning on some of the other questions, so I won't do his spoilers, but really it was teaching myself to write by putting myself in the position of the hero. And that's how I started writing. And since then, books have been coming out about once a year. And like I say, I've published 7 and I've got one on the go at the moment. But yeah, we'll talk about those later in a bit more detail, I guess.
Awesome. Awesome. We are looking forward to getting into that. But
Yeah.
as always, we mandate these icebreaker questions just to loosen us up, to get to know you, because all the time we find that people tend to buy the books once they know the author. Ryan's probably bought your books all now because you mentioned horror, because he is a horror tragic. So
I'm on the cusp of. I'm definitely going to get that latest one because I do have Kindle Unlimited. So I always utilize my Kindle Unlimited, and then if I really really like the book, I'll always buy a copy, whether that's on my tablet or a hard copy as well. But yeah, I seen as you said the magic words. I'm just about to click.
Yeah, there's the Necronomicon version of
Oh,
Terminus as well. I thought you might like that
Oh,
one.
okay, that's creeping me out, man.
excellent, excellent, excellent.
That's awesome. All right, I believe I'm the one kicking it off this
Yep,
time, Ryan. Cool.
you are, sir. You definitely are. Because
Excellent.
I started it the other day.
Yes. Now, because of all these questions, Paul, that we ask, and people keep giving us the pleasing answers, the Miss Universe answers, the political answers. We've tweaked this to make it more selfish. We want you to be selfish. We want to know what your pet peeves are. So, with that in mind, if you could get rid of one thing in the world, what would it be?
Well, I think this is a peeve and a cheesy one, really. I'd like to get rid of the barriers between people. But this is where it gets to be a bit of a peeve, because I think the big barriers are culture and religion and language and things like
Mm,
that. And the very emotive subjects. I wouldn't like somebody to insist on to me that I'd have to speak a different language.
yeah,
And that's where it gets difficult, isn't it? But
yeah,
I'd get rid of those sort of barriers. And, I think culture and religion are quite difficult and they have their place. Don't get me
mm,
wrong, I'm not knocking them. But they cause a lot of difficulties between people. And I don't like that.
mm.
Because we're all pretty similar when you get down to it if you ignore those things.
Yeah. No, fair point.
Yeah.
hmm Awesome. Okay. Well, question number 2 is what is something that is on your bucket list?
Right. I'm going to give you 2 here because I can't decide between them. The first one is topical because I'd really like to hold a koala bear. So that's one thing. I'd
Okay.
absolutely love that.
Mhm.
But the other one is I'd like to visit Meteora. I don't know if you've come across that one. It's in sort of middle of Greece near Delphi. And they've got these like
Okay.
monasteries on like great big stalagmites. And they sort of come out of the ground and they're like hundreds of feet high, these stalagmites. And they build monasteries on the top of them. And they have stairs all around the outside to get to them, which might freak me out a bit, that actually. But I really want to go there. That's something I really want to see.
It's awesome.
Awesome. No, that sounds really good.
And
And all you need to do to hold a koala bear is just come out to Australia. Pretty much every zoo or wildlife park will let you do it.
yep,
Yeah. That's what I want to do. It's on my
yeah.
bucket list. I really do. Yeah.
Just
Awesome.
just don't try to hold a
Actually,
wild one.
yeah. Well, I actually saw this video on YouTube or something where some guys had wound up this news reporter and made her wear a Kevlar jacket to hold a koala bear.
Yes. Yes.
Really
I
funny.
think from memory, I think that was a practical joke because we have this joke
Yeah.
that we play on all tourists.
Mhm.
We we tell them about something called a drop bear,
Right.
which is basically all tourists fall for it. So it's basically a koala bear, but it's more aggressive. It's got claws that'll rip your head off, and it's like it drops on you from above, and yeah, it is so funny. Even to get to the point where, well, this is how you hold them at bay. You rub Vegemite on your ears, and then they won't attack you. Like it's it's so ridiculous, but it is funny because everyone falls for it. Like everyone.
Yeah.
I haven't met a tourist that has not fallen for it yet. You know?
I can sort of understand that because Australia's got a reputation for
Yeah.
dangerous creatures, hasn't it? And I,
Yes.
I totally get that.
Yeah.
I think you sort of would be looking out for things when you're there if you're not used to it. But then we've got ultra processed food here. What's
Mhm.
scarier than that, man?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Um, cool. All right. All right. This is a great one. This is one of Ryan's ones, one of Ryan's favorite ones. So I'm going to bring up a picture to give you the picture of the
Yeah,
picture. So we have Mount Rushmore, obviously, but we want to
yeah,
know that if you were to make a Mount Rushmore of TV shows, just any genre from any time period, if whether they're on the air or not the air, like basically your favorite shows, four of them, what would you put up on the Mount Rushmore of TV shows?
yeah. I've been thinking about that, and I'm going over the whole range of my life really with this
Mm.
one, but I think I'd have Basil Fawlty up there to start
Mm,
with.
yep,
In its day, that was one of the funniest things. I'd have Jim Kirk up there, I think. Um, I'd I've forgotten his name now. The guy had a Breaking Bad as well, because I really enjoyed that. That was a really great show.
yep.
And the last one you may not have heard of is Vic Reeves' Big Night Out, which is like a totally lunatic comedy show from the UK. It's totally random. And so I'll probably have Vic Reeves up there as well.
I think I've heard the name. A lot of my
Yeah.
family love British comedy. Like, I mean, I love Black Books
Yes.
so much, you know. There's a lot of great comedy from you guys over there. Um, but yeah, no, I've heard of them. I've seen three of them. So,
It's okay.
yeah, that's
Cool.
cool.
Yeah.
Cool, cool,
Yeah, there's
cool.
a Deep Purple album with almost that on the front, isn't there?
Mm, yes. Excellent.
Awesome. Okay. Question number 4 is what is your zombie apocalypse plan?
Now, that is a very easy question for me because it's an English apocalypse.
Mm.
That is my zombie apocalypse plan. Um,
Mhm.
Essentially, the story is about an infection that's spread by aliens to try and wipe out humanity.
Ooh.
And essentially, this book was my first novel. And as I said, I put myself in the position of the main character. And what would I do
Mm.
if I had a forewarning that this infection was coming? And
Mhm.
it got quite interesting because I tried to be, even though it's a sort of unrealistic situation in some ways, and some might argue with that, but
Mhm.
I tried to deal with it as from a project management point of view. I need to get a team together, first of all. I can't just save myself. I've got to save my close family and friends, which means I've got
Yeah.
to put away 100 people somewhere. So it's got
Mm.
to be a big facility. I get warned by an alien. But the other thing is the big thing for me was, people would laugh if I said to them, I'm going to build a zombie bunker on a remote
Yeah.
island.
Yeah.
So it's more about how I lie to all my friends to
Mm.
persuade them to come and help me to do this crazy project
Mm.
that actually proves real. And about halfway through, they suddenly realize this is something real and
Yeah.
get very scared. And luckily, they've got somewhere to hole away um, in a remote Scottish island. But then they have to get out there and try and find food and
Mm.
try and get supplies, and then it gets rather gruesome.
Yeah.
So, an English apocalypse, 99p on Amazon. That I don't know how that converts to to Australian,
Australia.
but it's cheap.
Cool. That I want to talk about that more because that's very close to my book. I got
Ah, right.
a zombie book where it's the zombie apocalypse happens at a medieval themed bucks party. But
Okay.
the idea is that the best man who organized all the bucks party, the stag do and everything, he knew it was going to happen in advance, so he kind of manipulated all his friends and family into going to this thing because he knew it was going to happen on that day, sort of thing. Um,
Oh, wow.
so
That
it's cool. Um,
that has strikes some chords with me for my
yeah,
story, to be honest, because that's
yeah,
my character arranges a party to get all his friends and
yeah,
family to this bunker. So yeah, that's brilliant. I'll
yeah.
have to look at that one.
It's funny how, there's so many similar stories, but we can tell them in different ways
Yeah.
mine's more of a comedy. But although there's still some dark moments. And Ryan's smiling because he's a character in it.
Hmm. I should be a character in all of your books.
Yeah. It's the mandate. Um, all right. The last question. Now, are you familiar with the show and the movie Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure?
Yes, indeed.
Yes, cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have to ask this now because not everyone knows. Yeah. And yeah, we have a lot of young people on, so they don't
Mhm.
they don't know the 80s. Um,
Yeah.
so this question is, Bill and Ted rock up outside your house in their phone booth time machine and say, "Whoa, dude, Rufus asked us to give you a free ride in our phone booth time machine.
Yeah.
Where do you go?"
Well, being a sci-fi writer, it'd have to be the future. I've got a few doubts about where the future's going at the moment, but
Hmm.
it'd probably be quite a scary place from
Yeah.
what I'm seeing at the moment.
Mm.
But yeah, it'd have to be the future. See what 100 years out looks like, or 1,000 years out. I think
Yeah.
that would excite me more than anything. When I was thinking about your questions, I was thinking about sentimental things like going and see people I've lost. But
Yeah.
I think the
Yeah.
future's way more exciting.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, because you don't know what to expect. It's like
Exactly.
it's a
Yeah.
gamble.
The only difficulty is if you go to the past, you can always remember to go back and hide a gun.
Hmm. That's it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's it. That's it. Excellent. Well, you've passed the icebreakers.
Hmm.
Well done. So what we're going to do now is what we always do, and that's basically because me and Ryan are both comic book nerds, we love hearing the origin stories of our heroes. So we've twisted it to make it
Yeah.
about authors. So what is your author origin story? How'd you get into it? Is it something you've always wanted to do? Give us the goss.
It's not always something I wanted to do. It's something that came upon me by surprise, really. I didn't even know I could do it.
Mm,
And when I started with this idea, I actually started with the dream of the zombie apocalypse.
mm,
And
Okay.
about an hour away from me, I can get to the coast, and there's an island called Hilbury Island, and it's near Liverpool. And the dream was I was on that island, and the zombies started coming across the sands towards the island, and
wow.
how would I defend it? And it was just a dream, we're all shooting at zombies at long
Mm,
range, and it was like a shooting gallery almost. But that sort of dream, and a lot of dreams trigger books with me. It's really weird. I have
yeah.
very, very strange dreams. And often I wake up in the middle of the night and scribble something down because it's an idea for a book or an idea within the book I'm currently writing. So I just started developing this idea and I started getting very bored in my job. But this
Hmm.
isn't going out in the UK. And it was really that in lunch times, I'd have like an hour lunch. I'd start writing the book and start putting ideas down. And because I hadn't a lot of experience of writing novels at that time, like I say, I used myself as a lead character and took the book from what would I do, but in this situation. And I took that principle and moved it forward through the whole book. And the lead characters were friends, bit like what you've done. Um, and so all of the lead characters, there are 6 lead characters plus myself, they were actually set as friends of mine. But then I went back and altered the names and
Yeah.
changed a little bit of their personalities afterwards. But it essentially led myself through the story as if I was in it and evolved it that way. And having not written a novel before and not really thinking I could do it, I thought, what the hell? When COVID came along, I tidied it all up and finished
Mm,
it off, and we worked through it. And my wife helped me to edit it, and we put it out on Amazon. And I wasn't expecting a lot, but I ended up getting a lot of damn good reviews, to be honest. It quite surprised me, and so that just set me on a journey then. And essentially, at the end of COVID, I went into furlough, and then in the end, I lost my job. And
Hmm.
I decided to take a new job that was only 3 days a week so
mm,
that I could have 2 days for writing. And that's really how I got into writing. I realized I liked that more than the job I was doing. And here I am, full-time writer for 4 years now. So, yeah, it's been a wonderful journey, really. It's nice
mm.
doing creative things rather than working for the man, if you know what I mean.
That's 100%. I'm between jobs at the moment. I've had a few job interviews. I've applied for jobs, but it's just so tough right now that I'm applying, but I'm when I'm not going for an interview, I'm writing. I'm writing full time. You know, I've got a novel completed. Ryan's currently beta reading it at the moment, and
Yeah, I read some more last night. I'm up to chapter 26,
cool.
so I'm getting
Um,
there.
yeah, so I want to do it. I want to do it full time, but I need more people to buy my books. You know.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, that's awesome. So, have you done any like creative writing courses or anything, or have you just been learning while you're learning as you're going? Um,
Been writing as I go, really. I don't want to write in the style of anybody but myself.
yes.
And I just want to be me.
Yeah.
And my stories are a little bit cross-genre as well.
Hmm.
And, advice for other authors is it's much easier to market a book if you stick to a genre, but when you're writing books like myself that cross a lot of boundaries,
Yeah.
it gets quite difficult. But the way I look at it is I'm doing this because I love it,
Yeah.
not because I want to
Yeah,
please somebody in a marketing department somewhere.
Yeah.
So, you know, yeah.
Well, we're a lot
that's the
alike.
best way to do it. Yeah.
We're a lot alike, you and me, because yeah, I write multi-genre, but like my genres tend to cross over and blend. And I I I was on a live stream today and I was talking about my writing style. I was basically saying that my twists that I put in my book kind of changed the genre. They're genre changing twists. So it's like it's this kind of genre, and then when the twist comes, you're like, well, I didn't look at it that way. Now I'm looking at it this way, so it's not that genre, you know? I just
Yes,
I just love
yes,
it. I just love telling stories that are different, unique, because they're going to stand out, you know? I just want to write stuff that
yeah,
stands out and isn't the same as everyone else.
yes, yes, totally agree, totally agree. I think that was the case with my fourth book, which is Terminus, which is this one, but it's got the Necronomicon cover. But
Mm,
it it started out as a detective story with an investigative and journalist,
mm,
and he was trying to uncover a secret society. And then about halfway in, my brain just threw a wobbler, and he had all his memories altered, and he found that he'd been had his brain screwed with, and all the people around him, some were real, some weren't real, and he'd been
Okay.
actually trapped within an alien artifact, and
Wow.
it just went all over the place from
yeah,
there. And it was like, this is not a detective story now. This
no,
is something completely different.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't be able to do that with a traditional publisher.
No,
No,
absolutely not. No,
no.
no.
That's cool. So you mentioned that you get a lot of your ideas from dreams. Is there any other
Yeah.
inspirations you have, like from books you might read or movies you might watch?
Yeah, I think movies do help. I think books more so. You will see in some of my stories sort of things that are a little bit borrowed from
Mm,
other stories. I think some of the spaceships I borrowed the sort of fluid silver spaceships from Dan Worth, for example. I don't
mm,
know if you've come across him. He writes some really good hard sci-fi stories. And like there's a book I'm writing at the moment called Hinterland, and ordinary people get transported to a magical fantasy world. And it's a little bit like The Reanimator, if you know that
mm,
film, or the story by Lovecraft, with a big
Yeah.
green syringe, and it just sort of put the nanotechnology into them, and suddenly their soul departs their body and they go into a total fantasy world. It's just loads of little bits that feed in, but it doesn't frame the story, it just
mm,
sort of fits in. And it's just little things that I borrow along the way, I guess. But yeah, there's a lot of influence from H.P. Lovecraft and
mm.
science fiction and detective stories and all sorts of stuff, really. They all influence me. Mm.
So
Awesome.
in saying that, so who were some of the authors over the time since you've been writing that have inspired you? So do you have any authors that that wanted to make you write, that you wanted to sort of learn from?
Yeah. I think
Obviously Lovecraft, you mentioned Lovecraft, but
Lovecraft, absolutely. Yeah, my second series, the Book of Zal, it quotes Lovecraft at the beginning of each book. It's very tied into Lovecraft. Um, but I think some of the science fiction writers, I'd sort of go back to the sort of early days of Asimov, but I think Stephen Donaldson's another one. He really influences me with his stuff, like the Gap series. I don't know if you've come across that one, or the Thomas Covenant series as well. The first books of the Thomas Covenant series are absolutely magical. I really like those.
Okay.
But the granddad's always Tolkien, isn't he? Let's be honest. Tolkien's wonderful. I wish I
Yeah.
could write like he does.
Mm. Yeah. The funny thing about Tolkien is like, because I'm heavily in the indie world, like me and Ryan both are, but like a lot of the
Yeah.
people, a lot of the advice you get today, that all these YouTube indie writer advice channels or whatever, and they're basically, if Tolkien was writing today, they'd be like, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't, just like info dumping. Tolkien was pretty big at info dumping, but that was his style. That's what he did. But it's just funny that he's such a legend, but people are like telling you not to write like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah,
But styles have changed, and
yeah,
it was quite a long time ago when he wrote. But
yeah.
I still love it when I read it. But
Oh, yeah.
well, I think everybody gets a little bit sort of tired of the blat in the first opening
Yeah,
paragraphs about hobbits. It goes on a
yeah,
little bit too far
yeah,
for me. But
yeah,
I can't read the Silmarillion, for example. It just
mm.
drives me up the wall because I need a story to hang on to.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, I
yeah,
love Tolkien. Yeah.
yeah.
If
Well,
I if I write anything in an old style like that, though,
mm,
my wife, who's my editor, sort of pulls me up on it straight away. So,
yeah,
and rightly so.
yeah,
I'm not writing old-fashioned books. I'm writing modern books,
yeah.
really.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
But you can always do what Ryan recommends, and that's listen to the audio book, which is read by Andy Serkis.
Yes.
Ah, right.
That's a
Yeah.
probably there's a few different versions out there, and a friend of ours, Michael, who listens to a lot of audiobooks, he said, look, make sure you get the one narrated by Andy Serkis because he does all the voices.
Yeah.
And it is absolutely phenomenal. Like obviously he's great at Gollum, but he's also great at all of the other voices as well. Like he puts on a real show. It's like you're sort of he had the ability to take you into that world, and it's
Yes.
just absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, if you ever like, I'm a big reader, but also my job, which I had and I will be getting back to soon, is an Uber driver. So I have a lot of audiobooks because I can, in between customers and driving to location, I can just play them through the car.
Mm,
And
Yeah.
when I'm doing that 8 hours a day, 6 days a week, it's just a little bit easier sometimes than doing a lot of reading. Like
Yeah.
at the moment, because I'm not working, I'm doing a crap load of reading, but audiobooks are just
yeah,
so good. If you can get a writer, if you can get a person to read a book and have as much passion as the actual author had about it, if not more, then that's already a win for me in my book.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a fair point. I remember I had quite a long chat with George R. R. Martin at GlobalCon last year,
oh, awesome.
and he was saying audiobooks are the thing to get into, especially the US trucker market. And it's massive audiobooks there. I still haven't managed to penetrate the market, but
Yeah.
my first three books, the first two books are out on audiobook, and the third one's imminent in the next week or so. And I'm trying to get all my novels onto audiobook.
Mm,
The guy who reads mine works at Salem University, he's an adjunct professor there,
mm,
and he works in this sort of theatre and
Okay.
movement section, and he does all the voices and stuff, and he's absolutely great, really passionate about it. And it's all on Audible, so yeah,
awesome.
give it a go.
Awesome.
Excellent. Well, what we like to do is we like to talk book covers. So you've got
Hmm.
so many that I picked I just picked some at random.
Yeah,
So, well, I'll bring them up. Ryan will ask you the standard question when it comes to covers. Um,
Hmm.
sure.
so I just chose those three at random because you have so many.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah, that's
uh,
interesting
uh,
selection. Okay,
Awesome.
so the
Okay,
first one's
so
my dad.
hmm?
The first one's my dad,
okay.
and it's basically his World War II diaries.
Oh,
So
awesome.
that's just an homage to my dad, really. He had a bit of a rough time in India during the war, and that's his story, not mine.
Yeah.
So it's just literally his diaries with a little bit of explanation. So yeah, I did that for my family more than anything, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's just a picture of my dad. The second one is Terminus, that is the real cover for this one that's got the Necronomicon
All right. Yeah.
cover. Because these are only available through my website, you see, the Necronomicon
Okay.
ones. But that is the actual cover for it. That's the hooded figure. The baddies in my story are called the Dark Ones, and they exist all the way through. They're hooded figures that kill with daggers, and they're quite ominous until you find out really they're just shallow copies of the Zal, which are an alien species that are a little vampire-like in their behavior, but they're soul feeders and chaotic. And they were creatures that used to work for the astral architect that broke off and decided what he's doing was too ordered and too normal and tried to introduce chaos into the universe. So that is a dark figure of a Zal. So they're the baddies in my stories.
Cool.
The last one, Technicus, was the sixth book, the third book of Zal. Now that one's an interesting one because it's got the hooded figure again, but a little bit smaller, with a sort of twisted lightning strike. Now, Technicus is a fully post-apocalyptic story, and the Zal are sort of controlling humanity at that point, and it's set in Athens in the future. And yeah, it's an interesting cover. That I found that photograph online. It was a beautiful picture until I twisted it, so I'll put it through a twisting filter. And that's why it all looks so screwed up. Just think it's a very dramatic picture.
Yeah, no, it's very eye-catching.
So I think you've answered my main question already, but so you designed all your covers? You did them all yourself?
Yes.
Excellent, excellent. No, they're very, very well done. Because a lot of authors will, obviously contract it out to, different cover designers, or I think there's websites that do all of that as well. But I think that looked very, very well, very, very well done for you doing them yourself. So yeah, that looks really good.
Cool. I actually got into doing videos as well lately. I've done video trailers for my first 3 books.
Awesome.
And I've got them on my YouTube channel. And I've been sort of dabbling with breaking up the story and making AI clips that piece together into a trailer. So you can get an idea for the story from looking at that, a 2-minute shot in the arm. So yeah, on my YouTube channel, I've published these videos. But I really enjoy making them, if I'm honest. It's really fun.
We are the same person, mate, because I do my own video trailers too.
Right.
Because I don't know, it excites you because you can give people a feel for what you're doing and what you're working on, and then if you ever like I like to, before I write, I like to watch them, get a feel, okay, this is the tone, and then sit down and write while I'm fully energized, I guess.
Yeah. Cool.
Excellent. So what are you working on right now? Like what?
Right. Well, a book that's just started editing. It's called Hinterland. And a little bit experimental, this one. I've not done a full-on fantasy story before. And this involves, and it might be a little bit politically sensitive, I don't know, but I'm hoping not. But it's a story about a trans boy. And he finds himself in a fantasy world as a female. And when they move across into the fantasy world, people who've moved across from our world, which they call the hinterland, have magical powers. So the people are being brought across to help the city of Chester defend itself against a skeletal army. And they suddenly find themselves in a battle with dragons and skeletons and hydra and various other mythical beasts. And these people are dragged across that are almost suicidal in our world, are dragged across into this new fantasy world and learn to live together and work together and help each other and learn to live effectively. So yeah, this story is quite different, and I don't know quite how it'll be received, but it's certainly creative and very different from anything I've ever written. But these three teenagers find themselves with magical powers in a very strange world, which is it's almost like a modern day Walls of Chester plonked into an ancient Wales and England. And the people are ancient and the customs are ancient, but the actual city walls are quite modern. And it's sort of, how the hell do they understand what's happened here, and why is it being done? And I don't want to give any spoilers away, but it's a very unusual story. This, I don't know, I'm hoping it be quite well received, but never quite know. But I'm going to get quite a few friends to read this before I productionize it. But I'm going to put it through a round of editing first, obviously.
Okay. Do you have a time frame for roughly when that's going to come out?
Yeah, it's going to be sort of middle of next year.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
Because the editing passes usually take quite a lot of time, because we go through them in a lot of detail, and then we go through them again with an AI reading it back to us slowly. And so, we do tweak the book quite a lot as we go through, and then we get Alf from beta readers reading it. So yeah, it probably be middle of next year, I would suggest.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So how do you go about your beta readers? Are they just friends and family, or do you go through one of the sites?
Friends and family, to be honest. People I've worked with as well.
Yeah.
There's quite a few people, who I know quite well that I've worked with in the past, like this sort of genre of books, and they're more than happy to read them for me and comment on them. Some of them are very diligent. I've just finished a detective story and just published that. And one friend of mine, honestly, went through it with a fine tooth comb. And he found quite a few inconsistencies, and unbelievable inconsistencies, things I'd never think of. It was like, oh, well, you can't say that a Japanese dojo had awarded a tattoo stamp to a meritorious student because it's actually frowned upon in Japan to have tattoos. You're a gang member, and I didn't know that, but it just seems to be a mine of information. It's just, lots of things. Yeah. So it was some of these people are really good. Like, there's quite a bit of Scottish slang in the book, because they head off to Scotland to try and hide from some assassins that were after them. And so another friend of mine's obviously Scottish, and she goes through all the slang and makes sure I've got that right. And so it's just a bunch of friends. I don't use the websites now. But I do, once I feel I've got it in a productionable state, I'll send it to a couple of the online reviewers to see what they think as well. The readers' favourites and the Kirkus and people like that, just to double check before I put it live.
That's cool. It's great having people you can trust, like people you can work with, and just not some random stranger from the internet,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So when it comes to these novels, obviously, like you said, you're kind of dipping your toes in a fair few different genres. What's your process when it comes to research? So do you tend to do a lot of research, or do you tend to just, pick a central theme and then just see where it goes?
I think, I tend to have the story in mind in advance. And then I tend to research the pieces of it that I need to as I go along. I'll get the framework of the story together, but I'll know when I'm guessing at things and I need to get more information. I've got, for example, when I was writing Tumulus, I think it was, there's actually a fight scene in space, and it's quite a difficult one because the aliens are invulnerable, and laser weapons and stuff don't work against them. So some of the characters had to change themselves to be like those aliens to be able to fight them. And it almost turned the story into the 300 in space, if you like, because you've got a small army trying to fight a large army. How do you fight them? You have to channel them through a tunnel. How do you do that? Well, then you need neutron stars to actually create big gravitational fields. So there's a corridor down the center where they'll file, so you can fight them. And, just these stories go along, and I have to then and I did a module at university in astrophysics, so I've got some background, but I'm very aware it's not up to date, and I'm very aware that, I've forgotten quite a lot of stuff. So I had to go through and do a lot of research on, black holes and stars and things like that to actually check out that the story made sense, really, whilst being in a totally wild situation.
It's excellent.
Awesome.
With your ideas and coming up with ideas, do you have like a notebook you write everything down on? Do you have an endless list of of
Yeah. I've got a to-do list where when I'm out and about, I can just drop ideas onto it. And so I can just write them down. I've got a big notebook here that I scribble in and, write down ideas and plan things out and write my research down as I go along. So yeah, I write a lot of stuff down like that. Yeah.
now do you have more more books planned out than you think you're capable of doing? Because a lot of authors have so many ideas, not enough
I
time.
don't know. I tend to go through a cycle of I'm not sure I've got any more books in the pipe,
Yeah,
and I tend to go through that. And Elaine will say, my wife, she will say, you'll go for a walk somewhere in the hills, and then suddenly you'll go, and I'll be
yeah,
scribbling on my phone with a new
yeah.
idea. And, Hinterland just came out of nowhere, for example, and at the moment I've sort of got a rough idea of a sequel to Hinterland and a sequel for my detective story. And they're the things in my pipe at the moment, but I haven't shaped them up very well yet. I'm just in the process of shaping them. Um, the detective story I've got a good idea for, but it's I just don't feel I've got a good enough plot to actually make it a book yet, and I'm working on it.
Yeah.
So that's my thing I'm trying to think through at the moment.
Cool.
But yeah, I run out of steam, and I just let my subconscious mind do the work. Just
Yeah.
switch off, do something else, and suddenly my back brain will give me an idea. Hasn't run out yet, but
That's it.
I thought one book would be enough, and I've written 7 now. So, and I've got one in the pipe. So,
Hmm.
they seem to keep coming. I don't run out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's fun.
Oh, that's cool. So what's your average word count like per book? Like, do you write big books or just small books or
Um, I always aim for 100,000 words,
oh, that's good.
which is a decent sized
Yeah.
book. I think Moonlit Armageddon is about 135,000 words. My detective story is probably a little bit more, is about 140,000 words. So those two are particularly big books, but
Yeah.
mostly they're sort of normal size,
Yeah.
100,000 words ish.
Ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. A lot longer than I write. My biggest one's
Right.
76,000 words. I can't keep track of all the stuff if it's any longer. It's just
I totally understand. The problem I have is I can't write verbose books. I can't write War and Peace, which has got like 1,000 words for
yes.
every meaningful thing that happens.
Yeah.
And, I tend to load a lot into one sentence. So it actually makes writing a big book quite hard for me.
Yeah.
But they still come out quite long. I just put lots and lots of stuff in them, really.
Yeah.
And the stories just, move on and move on and move on.
Excellent. All right. Do we want to jump into the bonus stuff, Ryan? What do you reckon?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
All right, we're going to pose you with the question because there's an option. We can either give you 6 questions, they'll all be book related, they're relatively easy, or
Yeah.
we can play a game called Story Pitch, which everyone's raving about, where we give you scenarios and you've got to create a story from them. So it's
Oh,
completely up to
goodness.
you.
I honestly think that if you pitch me a story and I try and make it up on the spot, it's going to go horribly wrong. It really is. So let's do it.
Okay, okay then. It seems to be the new norm. All right. I will bring up the picture. Here we are. We have story pitch. So
Oh,
the
wow.
idea here is you have 4 categories: a setting, a
Yeah.
genre, a main character's profession, and the option to add something completely random. Um,
Okay.
so what we'll get you to do is pick a number between 1 and 6 for each category, and
Okay.
then we will give you the parameters of your story.
Okay. God, this is going to go really badly. Okay.
So Give us a number for the setting between 1 and 6.
4.
4?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And genre?
6.
Okay.
Okay. And for the next one, main character?
1.
1. And are you going to go with an optional addition?
I've no idea. I don't I have no idea what I'm doing here.
Oh, well, it's either going to create a story with a setting, genre, and a main character,
Okay.
or you're going to set one and we're going to throw you something completely random in the mix.
Yeah, throw it in.
Okay. What number do you want?
4.
4. Okay. Now we will bring up the secret codes that we have that no one else gets to see but me and Ryan. So okay, so your setting is a train.
Okay.
Yeah. And your genre is historical fiction.
Oh, crikey. Okay.
And your main character's profession is a super spy. So like
Okay.
James Bondy, I guess.
And your optional addition, so this is something you must include in your story pitch, is the character of Batman.
Oh, Batman.
Mhm.
Okay. Oh, blimey. Good God. So I've now got to tell a story with all this stuff in it, have I?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
Okay.
pictures like we basically just want the general synopsis, the general feeling of what the story is going to be about.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So it's got to be a steam train, first of all, isn't it?
Yep. Yep.
Well, any kind of train.
Yeah, but if it's a historical fiction, right?
It's
Oh yeah,
historical, yeah.
True.
So, yeah. So if there's a super spy on the train,
Mm-hmm.
where are they heading? Probably
That's
into
totally
somewhere.
up to you.
I think it'll have to be something weird like the Orient Express, won't it? Going across lots of countries.
Yep.
So we'll call him Bondi, shall we?
Bondi, cool. Yep.
I don't know where Batman's going to fit into this.
Well,
So
my head thinks Adam West Batman because he's so it's because it would be historical, right?
Hey, that's a good thought. Yeah.
So not Christian Bale or Ben Affleck,
Yeah. No. We'll have to go with West. Yeah, definitely. So why would Batman be on the train?
That's
He's
something
trying
you've
to
got to tell
stop the
us.
spy, isn't he? Let's be honest.
Is it the Bat
The
Train?
or the spy could be trying to track down Batman. He could be hired to find out Batman's true identity.
Yeah. No, I'm thinking that the super spy is carrying a toxin in his briefcase.
Okay.
He's heading to Morocco to kill the Prime Minister. Actually, Morocco's a bad place. It's not on the Orient Express, is it? Let's try Austria, something like that.
It's a historical fiction, so you can,
Yeah.
fictionalize it.
The King of Austria. So the super spy's carrying a toxin.
Yep.
It's what shall we have as the toxin? We can't have anything too sophisticated. I know what we'll do. You know those little blue dragon slugs that you have in Australia that are really, really toxic.
Yep.
Got an extract from one of those.
Okay.
So he's carrying that toxin and he's going to vaporize it into an aerosol using an oxygen cylinder. And he's going to take it to a sports venue where the president of Austria is going to be. Now, Batman is going to get on the Bat train and he's going to try and catch up with the train and jump from one to the other, whilst all sorts of strange animals are attacking him. But he's got a spray for each one, just handily attached to his belt, like the bat spray that you normally carry when you're on a helicopter.
Oh, I love it.
So yeah, he runs down the back of the train, jumps through the window, and all the super spies pals start attacking him. So you get pow, smack, crack going on. All these big sort of cartoon-like sort of words as he hits them. And the super spy runs for the front of the train, and you have to go onto the top of the train, don't you,
Yep.
when you're in these
Yeah, you
films?
have to.
It's
You
just
have to.
mandatory.
Yeah.
So they get on the top of the train, and Bondi's running down the back of the train, trying to get to the back train so he can steal it. But Batman gets his batarang, whacks him in the back of the head, you know. But the batarangs aren't very good. They don't come back, do they?
No.
Oh, sometimes they do. Sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, well, they can pick it up later, can't they?
That's
I think that'd be something like, that is pretty terrible, isn't it? That will do.
that. Not
No, that
that's
was
brilliant.
quite
That's
good.
brilliant.
Yeah.
That's the most in-depth one we've had. Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
I love it. Well done. The question is, do you want to play again? Because we have another set of parameters. Most people play twice, so we do have a different graph that we select. So you can give us the same numbers, and there'll be different
Okay,
scenarios.
same numbers then. Go on then.
You want to go the same numbers?
Yeah, go on then.
All right. So that was 4614. All right. So for this one, your setting is a second-hand bookshop.
All right, okay.
What was the genre was 6, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah.
So the genre is thriller or mystery.
Yeah.
All right. And then the main character's profession is a rock star.
Right, okay.
And the optional addition, something you must include in the story, is a historical figure.
Right, okay.
So a rock star in a second-hand bookshop
Yeah.
with a
Oh,
historical
he's got to
figure.
go in the second-hand bookshop first because he arrives in a telephone box from the future.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, I see what you
With
did there.
Napoleon.
Oh, yes. It's Bill and Ted. It's Bill and Ted 4.
Yeah, heads into the second-hand bookshop and starts looking through the shelves. He's looking for Catcher in the Rye because there's a secret code in it.
Okay.
And the rock star eventually finds a book to find the code XYPBT in the book. And because he's a rock star, he's got no clue what to do with it. So he has to get back into the phone box and go back into the past to find Sherlock Holmes, who didn't actually exist. So he gets a bit stuck. Whilst Napoleon's just totally bemused by the whole event, really.
Oh, perfect, man. And you were worried this is going to be hard.
I'm finding it hard.
I'm seeing some great materials here.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
You got another 2 books.
I was going to say that's the next couple of books.
Yeah, I think you'd find me hanging from the ceiling if I wrote those, to be honest.
Oh, well done. Well done. Seriously, that's amazing. Thank you for being our third person to play story pitch.
Yes.
Ah,
That was awesome.
that was a
Well,
laugh.
thank you so much for coming on. The last thing we'll get you to do is plug yourself. Where can people buy your books? Where can people follow you and stay up to date with what you're doing? And anything you want to say, the floor is yours.
Yeah, sure. Well, obviously there's Facebook and Instagram. I've got accounts on both of those. It's Paul JC Edge, at Paul JC Edge. You can't miss it. I'm on YouTube. That's probably the best place to find me, is on YouTube channel, which is at PJC Edge. But I do a weekly update on what's going on. Most weeks on there, just as a quick shot in the arm.
Yep.
And then every month I'm putting on a new video, which is a trailer for my books. So there's a trailer on for my first 3, which is an English Apocalypse, A Doctrine of Fear, and A Moonlit Armageddon. And they're the first they're the Summer Haven series. So obviously my books are on Amazon. They're also, some of them are on Apple Books as well, and they're also on Audible. The first 2 are on Audible, and the third one's coming soon. Now, I've just released an anthology, so that my first 3 books are available in one volume on Kindle.
Oh, cool.
And that's the cheapest way to get my books. The first book, An English Apocalypse, that's 99p. So that's just an introductory book just to get you into it. But if you buy the anthology, you get the first 3 books for, in UK currency, £4.99, which is the price of 1 book. So you get 3 books for the price of 1. So, it's quite accessible. But the best way to get a quick view of what the stories are like is look at the website. You can see some of the reviews and some of the blurb, but also the trailer videos. They're quite good on YouTube as well. They come over a lot more action-centric. They are quite roller coaster books, but it's not all action. There's the story as well, but the videos more focus on the action, really. But I really love creating those, I have to say. So my latest book's just come out is Unnatural Selection. It's a detective story. It's set around Staffordshire in the UK and Manchester. And essentially there's a bunch of murders occurring that have got a Darwin theme. And it's about natural selection. Basically, somebody's got a grudge against people that alter the natural order. So people who are doing gene-altering drugs or messing with gene selection or anything like that, this murder is out for them. And they can't quite piece together this mystery and why it's happening and who's doing it. And suddenly they find that a Romanian assassin guild are targeting them. So the police are actually getting killed on this case when they have a good lead. And it starts getting a bit gritty because they're gruesome murders. And they're really trying to put the detectives off from investigating this story by taking them out in a really nasty way. So that's what the story's about. It's really gritty. Unnatural Selection. That one's £5.99 English currency on Amazon at the moment. It's available in all formats as well. The Audible is an AI read version. It's only available in the US at the moment, I'm afraid, because that's a prototype. But I thought I'd give it a go because it reads it in nice BBC English, which I thought goes well with the detective story. So, it's very straightforward. It's quite good. But unlike the sort of creative stuff that goes on with my sci-fi stories, it's very straightforward. But yeah, it's only available in the US just now. But hopefully that beta will expand to the whole world soon, and that'll be available. But I can't give you dates on that one. So that's me. I've showed you this Necronomicon version. That's a special
I love that
edition. That's only available on my website. So if anybody fancies a copy of that, I will ship to Australia. It's no problem.
Yeah. Awesome. Now, most of our listeners are overseas in America. Love lately.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry, I misunderstood that.
No, we're worldwide. We're global. We have a lot of Australians that listen, but primarily our analytics say America is the place. There's a huge market over there, especially in North America, I think, last I checked. But yeah, awesome. Anyway,
I can understand it's a great show. It's really fun, to be honest. I enjoyed this.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on. We love talking to people from all around the world. It's such a good, tight-knit community. So many cool people. So yeah, guys, I will leave all of Paul's links down in the show notes. Our sponsors, Rebecca Castles and Martin Kearns, all their stuff's down there too. My stuff's down there too. I keep forgetting to plug myself. But it's not about me. So we'll make it about Ryan. Buy Ryan's shirt. Stand up again, Ryan.
Buy my shirt.
Plug your shirt.
Oh, was that a joke? You're asking me to stand up? Thank you.
I'm sorry. Anyway, guys, thetrueandthefictional@gmail.com if you want to reach out. All our socials are down below. And yeah, until next time, keep supporting those indie authors and we'll catch you on the next episode.
See you next time.